Dean Ambrose has to win on Sunday, and
Why? Why?
Why?
there's so many reasons why. It goes beyond Dean Ambrose to a point too. This is not a knock on AJ Styles at all. I have no problem. If he were to win, I wouldn't be upset about it. But I think Dean Ambrose has to win for the simple fact that you see what's on AJ's like shoulder there. It's kind of a big
Yeah.
it's a kind of a big reminder of what's coming, and that Cena's gonna want to come back and get some retribution, so to speak. And I don't want to see AJ Styles versus John Cena for the WWE title because that means Cena's probably gonna end up winning that. And I have no problem with Cena 16-time world champion. I would love to see that actually, but not right now when SmackDown's in its infancy and it needs to stand out on its own and show this new crop of talent that they've been kind of establishing. Dean Ambrose has to win just to protect that moniker a little bit. In fact, I want to extend his title reign just a little bit. Like Survivor Series, give me Survivor Series with Dean Ambrose.
You know what,
Never give him a
Justin? When you made the statement, I want Dean Ambrose to win on Sunday, I expected maximum fuckery, but I'll applaud you at the very least for attempting to make a logical argument, because as far as I'm concerned, Dean Ambrose is champion. No fucking logic there at all. But you tried to tie it into, okay, Dean Ambrose is going to save us from John Cena. First and foremost, I don't need to be saved from John Cena.
Neither
And
do
if I
I.
need to be saved from anything, Dean Ambrose would for sure not be the person I look to be my savior. His ass needs to work on him first and foremost before I look at him as if he's going to be some protector of the realm and keeping us from the White Walker that is John Cena.
Nice
Not
Dean
happening.
Ambrose reference.
Not
But hold on.
happening at all.
My thing isn't so much Cena himself. It's just the idea of what him winning a world title kind of represents. That's like we're falling back on our old morals, where it's like Cena's the safe bet and he's the old timer. It's nothing new. With Dean Ambrose, at least there's the caveat that he's never been a world champion before. This is his first title reign, and I wish that world title reigns meant first world title reigns meant something these days. Remember Reigns' first title win meant nothing. It was 5 minutes, and Daniel Bryan's was only a month because of injuries, or whatever. Like there's no really good first world championship run anymore besides maybe Seth Rollins. And
This
even then,
one isn't it. This ain't it.
It's not-
Shit, we might as well go ahead and nip this one in the bud and start over as far as I'm concerned. But I don't... The way in which you're framing this, it's like we have to look at Dean Ambrose as our protector and then also protect Dean Ambrose in the same sense. As I said before, I'll say it again. That championship needs AJ Styles. You're talking about, oh, he has this armband of John Cena and that's the reason why you don't want him to win. Shit, that's the reason why I actually want him to get the championship, because I want to return to a time where the championship was on the best person that was on the friggin' show. And the way that I look at it, beating John Cena is a championship in and of itself. And it's only a natural progression for AJ Styles to go from beating John Cena to winning the WWE World Championship. And if Dean Ambrose has to be that person that he knocks down on his way there, then so be it. Because it's not like what I'm seeing from Dean Ambrose right now warrants him being world champion.
All right. Let's say, okay, he beat Ziggler clean. He beat the 3 Shield members clean. What if he beats AJ Styles clean? What would that do for him personally going forward? Let's say John Cena doesn't come out with the rampant distract him, which I think is going to happen. Let's look, if he just hits a dirty deeds out of nowhere, wins the match, doesn't that solidify him more as a main event status?
You know what it'll do for me? Absolutely nothing. Because
Why?
my issue is not with Dean Ambrose beating people. They could have Dean Ambrose go on a fucking winning streak where he literally defeats every single person on the roster. But if I don't see a connection with the story and with the character, it all seems hollow. Like, you could sit here and you could talk about how he beat the guys in the Shield and how that's supposed to add to his legitimacy, but it was very transparent what WWE was doing. They knew in their minds that we're going to separate this guy from Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. We're going to need to establish a top star over on SmackDown. So let's go ahead and give this guy these wins, and then boom, he's separated from these guys, and we can rebuild them and do whatever the hell we want to with them over on Raw. But Dean Ambrose is going to take that over on SmackDown. But if I can't relate to you as a character, it's all hollow. And that's it. I don't sense any substance behind what Dean Ambrose is doing. And I guess that's ultimately my problem with him. So I don't care who he beats. If the character is flawed, the issue is going to remain. And him just going out there and keep beating people, that's not going to do anything but make it worse because you have a shitty ass character in Dean Ambrose beating a complete overall wrestler in AJ Styles. That makes no sense to me.
You cannot squander what AJ Styles' character is for fear of future booking when John Cena comes back.
And
like,
it's not
exactly.
No, but looking at that though, I guess looking at this more as a business and a fan perspective, but I don't like the idea of AJ going as a world champion facing John Cena and having Cena beat him. If it was like AJ beats him again, that's kind of like odd, but I would take it, I'd accept it, and we'd move on from that. My thing is not so much. It's also as a fan of Dean Ambrose personally, I see where he's going. Like he's the jokey guy, like in the build-up, but when it comes to the match, he puts his best foot forward. He says, "I take people down. I make them drown a little bit."
There's no legitimacy to taking him down. That doesn't happen.
True.
I think
this is the same fucking dude who was in the Ambrose Asylum, a match that was named after him because of how supposedly crazy he is, and him and Chris Jericho were arguing over a fucking mop. They were fighting over a mop.
He's not Patrick Ewing in the fourth quarter. He doesn't. You can't treat your opponent in AJ Styles like a joke for 3 weeks or the better part of 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden say, "Well, when you get in the ring with me, it's not a wrestling match; it's a war zone." Sure, his cadence sounded really impressive on Tuesday.
I'll give him props on delivery.
Yeah, his delivery was on.
If I believed anything you fucking said, that would be even better. But
I look at Dean Ambrose though, and I see a man. I think he was like had a uphill battle to climb when they gave him the lunatic fringe. He should have been like named as eccentric. That's more Dean Ambrose. Because lunatic is more like a guy throwing shit at the wellness center and then like for Lita's attention. That's kind of a lunatic. Dean Ambrose is he's eccentric. He's quirky. He's not all there in the head, but you kind of dig him a bit. And I like the idea of him being
fringe. There we go. Quirky fringe, Dean Ambrose. That doesn't pop like lunatic fringe. I can imagine it in my mind. It doesn't look that nice on a T-shirt.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's still false advertising. It's Michael Cole. I just see potential in Dean Ambrose as champion. Give him till Survivor Series, and then you never have to give him a world title again if you feel like it's a big failure by that point. But as a Dean Ambrose fan, since his Shield days, he was my favorite member of the Shield. I love that he's champion because as a fan, you get into that kind of thing. But I like to see him win. And if AJ Styles wins, fine. I'll be like, cool. AJ Styles is a champion. I never thought I would see the day. But you know what? It'd be cool if Dean Ambrose held it down on SmackDown, became that SmackDown guy like Taker was.
He's holding it down, all right.
Oh. Yeah, down in the ratings.
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm not going there. I'm saying he's holding the championship down from the place that it actually should be, on a bigger star. So
you're mentioning about it being, you want to see another impressive first title run. This would be AJ's first world title run.
Yeah, until he loses.
Boom! There you go.
1 month. 1 month title reign with Cena beats him. I'm not into that. I think AJ deserves better.
How is it that you enable yourself to do all of this fantasy booking, but you can't just flip that switch? Like you hit a hard stop there. Like, oh, of course, if AJ Styles and John Cena got into the ring with each other, John Cena is going to win.
Because
like you can do all of this fantasy booking, but you can't fantasize there.
We were able to suspend disbelief at SummerSlam.
I've been watching since I was a kid. I know where this ends. And it's not a knock on Cena. I love John Cena as a superstar, okay? I think he's great. My thing is I don't need to see him be world champion again on SmackDown. And when SmackDown's trying to separate itself and create a future generation, I think it's the wrong move. And I see if they just being cocky, that's how a story ends, with the hero getting the villain getting his comeuppance, and that'd be from Cena. So I'm not into that.
I'll just say what I said before. Again, if you put me into a situation where John Cena is the big bad villain and Dean Ambrose is the hero that's going to save the day, give it to the fucking villain. And that's all I got to say about that.
I don't have much to say because I really agree with most of what Jay and Dalton were saying, which is probably not what you expect.
When Justin is on the opposing side, yeah, it is.
We can stop talking now.
I mean, look, there comes a point where, you gotta, stop seeing what someone could be and just see what they are. And I think I'm reaching that point. Because when I look at Dean Ambrose, I see, or I saw, and I still see the guy he could be, but he's not that guy, and he hasn't been that guy for years. So I just have to say, okay, I guess Dean Ambrose is not going to be how I want him to be, and a lot of that is his fault, because, I mean, he got the challenge from Austin, and he hasn't stepped up. So, I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed.
Speaking of that, you said it's Dean Ambrose's fault. It's a little bit of Stone Cold's fault, too, because I'd be lying if I sat here and said every single time I saw Dean Ambrose, that interview didn't pop in my head, because it does. Every fucking time. And it's so unfair to Dean Ambrose, because what can you do? He's handcuffed, but it is what it is.
He's not as handcuffed as he thinks he is, which is what Austin was trying to tell him. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think the best thing that they should do is turn AJ face and turn Ambrose heel. I think that's what they really got to do, because you could tell the Ambrose hate is coming in. He's getting a little bit booed, and people are dying to cheer AJ again. So I didn't always agree with the heel turn in the first place. I think that served its purpose. Now it's done, and they could do the double turn, and it would work beautifully. But I don't know if they will do that. And I think that's a good way to compromise here with what Justin was saying, is give Ambrose some more time with the title by making him a heel. Have him cheat to win so he doesn't beat AJ clean. And then AJ could beat him in a month or two.
Yeah, if we get a character change from Dean Ambrose, then I won't say I'm 100% against him winning the champion or retaining the championship, but the current incarnation of Dean Ambrose, I do not want to see that guy with a title. I don't want to see him, period.